Oh, what's going on, y'all? Dwayne Dixon, your host of Success of a Nation. I know I got 2 words for you just to start everything off. I'm back. I'm back. Little Donnell Jones for those of you who know. If you know, you know. But seriously, I know I've been gone for a minute. I've had a lot of different real estate projects that have kept me busy, as well as, traveling throughout the summer and just doing what we do. But I'm promised I'm going to make an effort to get back and do things on a more consistent basis, even though I do have another project coming up in another week or so. But enough of all of that. My next guest is Monica Duhart. She's a commercial real estate investor, and she's a guru of all things dealing with the mindset. And if you know anything about me, that's something that I'm really strong on. I really believe in. So we hit it off right from the start, because of a lot of our thoughts and principles being aligned. So I'm going to fade out and fade in to my latest interview with Monica Duhart. Enjoy. What's going on, y'all? My name is Dwayne Dixon with Success of a Nation. We've got Monica Duhart here. I'm super excited about this one because she is a commercial real estate investor. That is something that I've been pounding the table on, wanting us to get involved in. One thing for sure we got to touch on is mindset.
Absolutely.
Because I was talking to her at first, and I was listening to what she was saying. I'm like, Iyanla? Okay. She bringing that heat. So without further ado, we're going to get started. This, again, is Monica Duhart. And I guess first things first, I guess we can kind of talk about your background and things of that nature, and we'll just kind of start from there.
Okay. So a little bit about my background. I spent about 14 years, really 16 years in corporate America, 14 of those 16 years as a finance cost analyst working in aerospace and defense. So basically, lots of Excel sheets is where I spent the majority of my time.
I knew there was a reason for this. Okay, so you in aerospace
and defense. So I supported if you're familiar with the military, the F-15 and F-18 military fighter jets. Yeah. So the engineering group that I work for, they basically created the radar scanners that go on the front of the plane to help kind of scan the area so that they can find our enemies and different things like that.
Sure.
And I also worked on a space program and submarine program. So some pretty cool stuff. But
wow.
The Excel spreadsheets, is where I spent majority of my time. I was grateful for the opportunities that they will allow us to go onto the floor or to the different plants to be able to see, touch, feel, because I'm very hands-on. Mm-hmm. So that made me feel a lot better and appreciate a lot of the acronyms and numbers that I was just looking at on a day-to-day basis. Okay. But yes, that's where majority of my background in corporate America has been, crunching numbers.
So that means with underwriting being such a major part of commercial real estate investing, this is probably like a cakewalk to you then, right?
It is more so now because I'm familiar with it, right? Anything that's brand new to you, it doesn't just start out as a cakewalk. But yes, did I naturally glean towards that and lean towards underwriting? Absolutely, right? Okay, for a couple of reasons, because that's my background. Number one, I'm naturally analytical. I am, as my friends tell me, I'm one of the most analytical persons that they know.
Okay.
It said I will dig down deep into the nitty gritty, but I also heard that out throughout my working career with my managers as well. But So for me, just heading into the commercial real estate space and underwriting properties, it's like I gravitated towards underwriting and then, if you're going to invest, the numbers are the most important piece. So I'm grateful that this is something that I naturally have a taking towards.
Right.
It makes things a lot easier for me. And then, if you want to add the piece of, okay, do I trust if this deal makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable because I trust myself.
Right.
And if I underwrite it myself, then I know if I want to move forward or not. So, yeah, those are some of the benefits.
Oh, man, yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic because that was one of the areas that I had the most issues with, underwriting. I knew how important it was. I mean, it is everything. The numbers are everything. So yeah, no, that's good to know. That's good to know. My area, having been in real estate for so long, was I felt comfortable with dealing with the contracting side of things and dealing with all the contractors and making sure that they didn't inflate the numbers because I've been doing it so long. I knew what sheetrock was hitting for or whatever the case was, So that's where my specialties lies. But just that underwriting is so key.
It is.
Yeah.
It makes or break a deal.
Now, just out of curiosity, how'd you get into rocket science and what have you?
Interesting story, and I'll make it really quick. That is not the path I was headed down at all. I actually was headed into human resources. I was working for a pretty large company in their customer service department, working for mutual funds and working with brokers and shareholders and things like that, and was transitioning out of that into human resources when my father decided that he wanted me to go into aerospace and defense. And me being raised the way that I am, when your father, your parents, your elders say something, you do it, whether it aligns with your purpose or not.
Right.
And that's pretty much how it happened. He had a friend who worked at the company, and they said there was some openings. My father told me to apply. I applied. I interviewed. I got the job, and 14 years later.
Wow, that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
So, yeah, that's how it happened for me. But it definitely was not the path I was headed down.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for it.
So that's exactly what I was about to ask. In hindsight, looking back, are you grateful for that? Or do you feel like my kids told me, Dad, I don't want to do something for you, Dad? I had it all laid out. My kids I had my daughter being shadowed by a doctor on weekends. She's shadowing a anesthesiologist because that's what she wanted to do. My son was he was going to get a job working at one of the financial managers because I wanted him to get in finance. Justin Bieber and Usher and Beyonce's financial manager here in Atlanta. Just didn't work out that way. But it turns out things actually worked out,
To a certain degree, right?
Okay.
So I'm grateful. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, right? And my experiences working in aerospace and defense, having the finance background, the people that I was able to work with, it definitely helped shape and mold me into the individual that I am today. The challenges and the great things that transpired, right? So for me, I'm grateful from that aspect, but also because, you hear a lot of people say, oh, you're taught, because our parents' generation, they worked hard to get what they had. So for us, they were like, we want you to go to school. We want you to come out of there and get you a good job. And then you stay at this job for the next 40 or 50 years and you just keep climbing the ladder and making the money that you need to make, right?
Right.
So that's what was embedded in my head. And me, like I said, following my elders and listened to what my father wanted me to do, I was just like, okay, this is what he wants me to do. This is a great company. I mean, it's a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
And we have billion-dollar contracts. So it's like, okay, this I have great opportunity here I can literally retire from this place, right? And so that was sort of my mindset. But really what it did was it put me in a place of complacency to a certain degree, right? Because I got comfortable. I knew what I was doing. I know I can go back to that job right now and just dive right in. Give me a week and I'm back into the saddle of things, right? I just got to get refamiliarized with the systems once more, right?
Yeah.
But after a while, it took me saying, this is not my purpose.
Okay. So you did ultimately come to that.
Yes, it wasn't my purpose. And once I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy. I wasn't feeling like I was doing the things that I was set out to do, is when I really started saying, no, there is more to life for me, and there's more that I should be doing besides sitting at a desk at a minimum 9 hours a day looking at Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so, yes, was I out in the world volunteering and doing these different things in the community? Absolutely. But I knew that wasn't enough for me. That was not my end game.
Yeah.
And once I took a step back and I built the confidence to say, okay, I got to get out here and go explore a bit more. And I need to get comfortable with how am I going to let my father know that, hey, I'm seeking more. I'm grateful for this. I'm thankful because I know that this all stemmed from a place of love.
Yeah, for
100%. And protection. Your parents, my father wants the best for me, right? And I know that, and I love him for that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Daddy, I got to take some rest. You know, it's time for me to branch out, and it's still hard. It's a hard pill for him to swallow, right?
Yeah,
and that's okay because I'm his baby, so he wants to make sure she's okay. But I'm grateful that I'm not looking back, and just getting myself out there doing what I want to do and getting from behind the Excel spreadsheets.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
From those Excel spreadsheets to a different set.
To a different set. To a different set. Absolutely. But boy, has it set you up.
Mm-hmm. It has.
For everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you feel as though this is now going to be your purpose? Do you feel as though you're now living your purpose?
Absolutely. So real estate is a conduit to a much larger purpose and vision for me that keeps being revealed to me by God. It's like a little bit gets downloaded here. Okay. Oh, wow. This is what you want me to do? Okay.
Right.
Now I want you to start moving this way and that way and this way and doing these things. Right.
Right.
So for me, it took me working on mindset, right, to get to the point that I'm at.
Sure.
So no, I'm pretty grateful, and I 100% believe that where I'm at now is, like I said, it's a stepping stone to where we're headed.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Monica, really. So, having said all of that, let me just go on and get to the reason why you're here. Outside of the real estate portion of things, I had the pleasure of, just having a conversation with Monica offline, and when we initially met, and like I said, I thought I was talking to goddamn Deepak's sister-in-law or something. I didn't know what to do. So, having said all of that, let's kind of dive into that for a moment, because I know that getting into this business, or any new business for that matter, is really, it all starts at your mindset. And with some of the gems that you were just dropping on me, just at the spur of the moment, I was like, okay, we need to put her on camera. We need to talk further to her. So give me a little something on that, because, again, we both value it tremendously. And after talking to you, you clearly value mindset. Speak to me about that.
Let's just go back a little bit.
Let's.
So mindset is one of the most important things for you to succeed in anything in life. No matter what it is you're trying to do, whether you think it's something small, whether you think it's something big, you have to have the right mindset. Everything starts right here. Going back a notch or two, a few years when I really started learning about mindset and those things started being introduced to me, and I'm like, okay, this is great. This is amazing. And you hear all this different stuff like, oh, you have to do certain things so that you can attract and get what you want and stuff out of life. And it's like, okay, this sounds amazing, but how do I really do that? How do I get myself to where I'm moving on a certain frequency and operating on a certain vibrational level and have this positive mindset? And when I don't have a positive mindset, how do I turn that around and get back to that positive mindset, right? Because life is coming at us every day. Right. Every single day. Yes, some days are amazing and they're great and they're fantastic. Yeah. And then some days you like, shit, what the heck has happened? You know what I mean? You felt like you got hit by a 2-ton truck. Yeah. So I'm what they call a sapiosexual. I believe in forever filling my brain with information and knowledge. I'm constantly learning and growing. So, and personal development has always been at the top of my list before I even heard the word mindset.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've always been a reader. I've always wondered, how can I, improve myself and be better? And so years ago, one of my mentor is still my mentor today, Rod Cleef, I was attending one of his conferences and he was talking about all this mindset stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I really align with this guy. This sounds great. This sounds amazing. And telling us all these different things we need to do. And that's when I started really getting my introduction into applying it. But I'll be real honest with you. It was not until recent. I took some time away and went off into the North Georgia mountains.
Got you a little cabin?
Got me a little cabin with no Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow. You just went off the grid.
Completely off the grid. I mean, like if I had a bar, I was lucky to have a bar, right? I was just like, long as the call go through to 911 if necessary. That's all I care about, right? And so I went off into nature because that's what speaks to me. And I spent basically just shy of a week completely off grid and had time to just self-reflect and allow God and the universe to just download to me. And when I tell you things became super duper clear about how to really transact and apply mindset and the power of the mind.
Right.
So now that we're here, mindset. Anything that when you look at your life, the first thing we have to do is take accountability. Our life is literally a reflection of our thoughts.
There you go.
And the moment you sit down, see, when we hear that initially, we like, no. So-and-so did this to me. No, I didn't have anything to do with that. Right. I didn't do this. Right. I didn't do that.
Right. It comes back to you.
Peace. I hear what you're saying. No, you may have been just sitting at the light and that food ran right into the back of you. Mm-hmm. Maybe so. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There are going to be these random things that occur and happen in your life. But when you sit back and you think, was you sitting there thinking negative? Were you like, oh, I'm scared to go out driving because somebody might hit me? There's all types of thoughts that we think and we put out into the atmosphere. And although they don't transact right then, they come back at some point in time.
Stop it, Monica. Stop it. Go on.
I'm just saying. So when you sit and you really take that time and say, I really want to get to the next level in life. I really desire to have all this greatness and to live an amazing life. You have to take accountability for you. You have to sit and say, hey, this is me. This is because of my thought process, my thought patterns, my actions, or my lack of actions.
Right.
See, one of the things about me, I'm very analytical. So one of the things I had to say to myself is, you can't have all this analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
You got to analyze and you have to make a decision and go.
There you go.
Because I'm a hard worker. Oh, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to put in the work. But it's too much time analyzing, evaluating, trying to wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment.
Right.
We have to go. I had to sit back and say, oh no, I didn't win that opportunity. Not because I got outbid. No, it was because I was anxious about it. I wasn't confident in it. I had to sit and say with myself, it was because of you, Monica, and take full accountability for that. And for us, when it comes to mindset, we have to sit with ourselves and say, you know what? This is my life. This is the direct output. But the great thing about this, is because of that, you also have the power to change your future.
Okay. I told you. Okay.
So now that you've taken that moment to say, hey, and you have accepted that where your life is current day is because of you, you can say, my future is also going to be because of me. And I'm going to direct that because I have the power within my mind to change and produce whatever outcome that I want. I'm the creator of my reality.
Yeah.
And when you sit down and you start really applying, when I tell you God and the universe will start sending you information and people and resources because you will naturally start operating on the vibrations and frequencies that you're supposed to be on. Then your life will start changing little by little by little. You have to sit with yourself, take time for yourself. You need to read every single day. I don't care if it's for 5 or 10 minutes a day. Read a page. Try to read 10. But if you can't, even if it's 5 pages, don't try to break it, we try to make things so difficult. Break it down into just bite-sized pieces. Yes. Visualize your future. Affirm it. You need to visualize and feel it in your emotions. Like, put yourself there. When you sit in, if it's a car you want, or you have a family, you want to get them a brand new house, put yourself in the house. Go take your family out and start looking at the type of houses you want to be in. Smell the air. Look at the backyard. Feel it. Hear your kids running around. See them running around the house. Do that for yourself every day. That's part of putting yourself there, and feel it as if you already have it. Yeah. Believe it as if you already have it. And if you don't believe it, keep saying it until you believe it, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. The subconscious mind works off of our energy, off of our emotion.
Right.
So anything you give emotion, you attract. So if you give emotion to negative things, you're going to attract more negative things. If you give emotion to positive things, you will attract more positive things. Are you going to be perfect every day? No.
Right.
But you can catch yourself. When you catch yourself thinking of something negative, you say, oh, nope, let me rephrase that. Let me reframe it. And you turn that into what you desire. Focus only on what you want, not what you don't want.
Girl, you're dropping so many bars right now. Okay. So, having said that, what are some tangible things that we can do to change our mindset? I know you mentioned reading, and of course, trying to alter the way you think, but I'm talking about the stuff you can put your hands on, vision boards, and I'm sure you have those. Okay, I'll let you carry on.
So, first of all, let me recommend a book for your listeners.
Okay.
The Miracle Morning.
The Miracle Morning, huh?
It is a game changer. Don't read the book if you're not ready to change your life. But if you're ready to change your life and take accountability for your life, read that book. And from that point forward, from the moment you read page 1 to about the time you finish the last page, your life will be changed as long as you apply the information.
Wow, okay. The Miracle Morning.
The Miracle Morning. Let me just give you a brief synopsis of the Miracle Morning.
Please.
Although it's called the Miracle Morning, you can preferably do it in the evening if you like. But I highly recommend you do it in the morning because it sets the tone for your entire day.
Okay.
Your entire day. So what he calls them lifesavers. S is for silence. So you can spend 5 to 10 minutes in complete silence. A lot of us will say meditation, deep breathing, whatever. Silence. A is for affirmations. You create and write out whatever things you are desiring and that you want and you're believing for. You can create affirmations, and you say those affirmations, and you say them with enthusiasm and with emotion, and you feel them. I mean, Sometimes I'm out, not sometimes, all the time. When I'm working out in the morning, whether I'm running or I'm cycling, I'm literally yelling my affirmations. And I'm feeling them like, I have seen people be like, oh, one guy stopped the car. He thought I was yelling for him to stop. I said, oh no.
Just affirming.
Right. Exactly.
Just affirming.
Yes, exactly. You have to really feel it. So that's affirmations. Visualizations. Visualize, like I mentioned before, you need to visualize yourself as if it has already happened. Whatever it is that you're affirming for, visualize that. Visualize the life that you desire and visualize yourself as it's already happened and you're living it. And feel that with your emotion. Exercise. We need to be moving our bodies every day, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. Yoga, whatever that is, get your butt up and move your body. Go walk, go run, go cycle, stretch. I don't care, jump rope. But you need to be moving your body every day, eating healthy. Even we're not going to make all the proper choices every single day, but we need to be conscious of doing our best and fueling our body. We want to put good foods in our body so that we can function mentally, optimally every day.
Okay.
R, that's for reading. Like I said, even if you're unable to read 10 pages a day, even 5 pages a day, or 10 minutes a day, just start somewhere and work your way up. Yeah. And like we were talking about, I can get lost in a book, but not everybody's a reader. My mom, she does not like to read. Yeah. That's not her thing.
Right.
The fact that I've encouraged her to even read 5 pages a day
is major.
Pat on my back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I applaud her for that because it's taken a while to get her to want to get to that point. But now she's starting to enjoy it more and more and more every single day. And before I know it, our families watch us. Children watch what you do. They don't just listen to what you say. Yeah. They watch what you do.
Right.
Your parents, they're watching what you do.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, do this, but you're doing something else. If you're going to be a leader in your family, you have to set the tone.
Yeah.
Now, I've never asked my mom to meditate. She's been meditating the last couple of weeks.
Stop it.
On her own.
Wow.
I asked her to get out and walk every day. She's exercising. She came back and told me, oh, I increased my mileage to 3 miles and I'm running the hills now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Be an example. This will change the trajectory of your entire family and being consistent. So I'm going to add to that. You want to be consistent. You have to be consistent. I have read lots of documentaries, watched lots of documentaries, read different documentaries about really highly successful people, multimillionaires, billionaires. One of the common themes that I've heard from them about how they are able to attain and sustain, which is the key that a lot of people miss. You can make a lot of money,
right?
But can you sustain it?
Can you keep it? Yeah.
If you don't have the right balance in your life, you won't be able to sustain it. If your brain isn't functioning optimally, if you're not right on a spiritual level, because you're dealing with a lot of traumas and triggers and things, and you haven't figured out how to handle things emotionally, eventually your empire can come crumbling down.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have the right support system in place.
Right.
And one of the ways they have said that has assisted them in being able to sustain is consistency. Even when they didn't feel like doing it, they did it.
Yeah.
And it changed the tone for their day. So the days when that 6 a.m. alarm go off and I'm like, I don't want to. Yes, you do.
Right.
Hop up and get it done. The other key thing that will help you stay consistent. See, this is part of our problem. Whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a 9-to-5er and you work a job, we're always doing something for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
It's time to change that because it's our duty to be successful. And in order to be successful, we have to put ourselves first. I used to think that was very selfish. I used to really think that was very selfish until God made it clear to me. If you aren't successful and you don't put yourself first, how can you fulfill the purpose that I have for you?
Absolutely.
So how can you take care of your family and love on your family and do all other things you want to do if you don't love on yourself first? You have to fill your cup first.
Right.
In order to be able to give out.
Yeah.
Which means here's another good book for you.
Uh-oh.
It's called The 5-Second Rule. It helps people like me who are very analytical, makes decisions quick, helps with a lot of other things. But one of the greatest things I took away from that book, she said, before you start your day and do anything for anybody else, you need to have 1 to 3 action steps that are aligning with you hitting a goal for you, not for your kids, not for your husband, your wife, mama, pappy, nobody else, for you. Whatever major goal you're trying to accomplish, every morning before you start the day, focusing on any of your 9-to-5 work, or what if you're entrepreneur, your own business work, you need to take 1 to 3 action steps measurable action steps that will help you hit that goal. Now tell me that doesn't motivate you to get up.
Yeah, really.
Because really when you do that every day, you feel amazing. I jump out of bed.
You feel accomplished.
Yes.
You can't help but feel accomplished.
Exactly. How can you not want to jump out of bed like, oh, I get to go do this for me? And it makes the rest of your day like 10 times easier. Because you'd be like, I got this done right here, so I'm already another step closer. Okay, and now I can go take care of A, B, and C over here.
Right.
It literally energizes you. And it makes you feel, like you said, accomplished. And like you know, conquering the world.
Yeah, for real.
Be like, I got this, let's go, you know? So those are some of the key things that I would say that are tangible things that you can do that are really easy. I mean, if you just carve out, for me personally, it's about 2 hours for me in the morning, sometimes 3 hours, depending on what type of exercise routine I'm doing. My exercise is my longest piece of my morning routine. Those other things, the lifesavers, you can do them in about an hour.
Right.
Well, about an hour and 15 if you read a little bit more. But you can do them in generally about an hour.
Okay.
So pull your wake up time back a half an hour or an hour. Do not hit the snooze button.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask for some people, you know.
And you know what? The old me would have felt bad, would have had empathy. But I don't. Because at the end of the day, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You want me to feel sorry for you for the life that you currently have. But you don't want to wake up a half an hour earlier.
Right.
I don't feel bad.
Now, you know what? Listening to you do your thing, and I greatly appreciate it, by the way. Listening to you do your thing, the one thing that also came to mind, a lot of people are going to have trouble with some of the things you just said, particularly what you ended off with. When you can't wait to get out of bed. Mm-hmm. The key thing with that, and I know because I've been there, is finding your purpose. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many people just get up? God, here we go again. Mm-hmm. That whole bit. Mm-hmm. Finding your purpose, Monica, makes all of that come to light and fruition. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree and disagree.
Okay. Talk to me.
So my thought process with that is, I only recently confirmed my purpose. I had an idea of the direction I was headed, but I only really recently said, okay, this is definitely my purpose. And prior to that discovery, I still did the things I just mentioned because I had a greater purpose, bigger. For me, that was what I thought was my purpose. I had something that was bigger than me. My why. You'll hear a lot of people say, what's your why?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree because that's what I was taught. What is my why? Does your why make you emotional? Does your why, when you think about it, get you a little teary-eyed, make your hair stand up on your... If your why doesn't move you, it's not strong enough. It's not going to keep you going and pushing when things get tough. Yeah. And things are going to get tough. This is not an easy process. Everyday life is not an easy process. It's what we make it, though, and how we look at things and our perspective on things. Even when I go and and trust me, I have challenging things currently happening in my life.
Yeah.
But you know what? My mindset has helped me be grateful for them. Do I have times where I got to punch the air and get it all out and I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely. Right. But that's a very short stint and I'm back into my positive mindset. And I thank God for the challenges that I'm going through because it's helping me, because it's going to help me help somebody else.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have to find your why, and it has to be, and only you know what your why is. It can't be what my why is or aligned. It could be something similar, but only you know what's going to get you up or going to keep you up when your eyes are burning, you exhausted, you moving off of maybe 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep, which I do not recommend. That is on occasion.
Right.
Sleep is important.
Oh, boy.
You hear me?
Yes.
It is very, very important. Don't let these people steer you wrong and tell you you're supposed to only sleep for 4 hours every day for the next 5 years. You're going to be half dead in 5 years.
Right.
Don't do it.
Even Puff changed that later on. All of that. I sleep when I'm dead. You remember people were saying that.
Yeah.
And it's just like we've since educated ourselves and we realize, no, get some sleep.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
It's important. And this is why I highly recommend the Miracle Morning book, because it helps you create balance throughout your entire life. You know how many people I've heard and read that are super ultra successful, and they said there's 2 things that if they could do it over, they would have done differently. Number 1, they would have created more balance because they didn't get the time with their children and with their families. And time is priceless.
Yeah.
You cannot get that time back.
Right.
You cannot get that time back. And tomorrow is also not promised.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't play with my time. When people don't respect my time, they're silently removed.
I told you she was no joke. Okay.
So that's one thing that they said they would have done different. Yeah. They would have had more work-life balance with their family. The other thing, what do you think it is?
Work-life balance. They wish they would have gone bigger sooner, maybe. What? I know that's a big thing that you often hear. What?
No. They would have been more healthier.
Oh, yeah. Then there's that.
So they work hard, push themselves to the dirt end, no sleep, and then they make all these millions of dollars and then hope they could live to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So now I done lost my family time, and now my health is terrible, and now I'm trying to fix it all and get everything better. Are some of them able to recoup and recover? To a certain degree, absolutely.
Yeah.
But not everybody. You hear about the people, they made millions. There's another guy, he just passed away, I think a few months ago. Young guy, millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow. And that's why it's important to create that balance now so that you can sustain, you can grow in each area of your life little by little. Are you going to be better in some areas than the others? 100%. Some are going to be a little bit higher, but you're working on each of them every day. So when you hit where you want to go, it's sustainable. And it's something you don't have to go change all your habits over, because it's a habit you've been doing now for years. Now it's not like, oh, I made millions, let me go start working out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't always work that way.
No.
Yeah.
So that's something that I highly recommend. Get your sleep, people. Eat your veggies.
Oh boy, I really appreciate you going as deep as you did. Like I said, when I initially heard you talking about it, I said this is a conversation that needs to be had. So I'm glad we're having it.
Absolutely.
So okay, well I guess we can move on now that you've just got all kinds of gems and diamonds laying all around. We pick that up. Real estate.
Mm-hmm.
How did you transition? Now, I mean, you at Grumman or wherever you were. You know, I'm thinking Grumman and what's another one?
Raytheon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did you transfer from that into real estate?
So really what happened, I actually stumbled upon real estate.
Okay.
One of those Facebook posts about a real estate expo that was in my area at the time when I lived in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to attend the expo because, like I said, I had been for quite some time seeking other things that would allow me to fulfill my greater purpose in life and not just be sitting at a desk, all day, every day,
Mm-hmm.
and weekends too.
Yeah.
At times. So I went to the expo. They had things, all the stuff, single family, fix and flips, rehabs, commercial real estate, apartment buildings, office buildings, and then they had a whole bunch of other different variations of real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, when I listened to a lot of different stuff, I promise you, when I went to the breakout rooms that spoke about commercial real estate, and more specifically multifamily apartment buildings and ownership and how that whole process worked, I mean, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, it's completely spoke to me, because I said, this is it. This is something that will allow me not only to create generational wealth for myself, but it will help me create generational wealth for other people who don't necessarily have the time, and create a peaceful, loving, harmony facility and residence for the people that live there. Because a lot of these places we're looking at, we're taking them over from slumlords.
Yeah.
These people are living in deplorable conditions. And It's like, you do know you have humans that stay here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So being able to go and transform these places to give a person to say, this is my home.
Yeah.
And be proud of and feel at peace. I always say your home should be a place you run to as your place of solitude and peace and harmony. You're just like,
mm-hmm.
It should not be a place where you like feeling like you on pins and needles. You don't you don't have good running water. You got roaches and all this other stuff. That's not peaceful.
Yeah, that's so true.
So that's how I stumbled upon real estate and really didn't look back. I ended up joining a coaching program, which I'm still a part of, and started passively investing, and then started getting into some active investing, and on and upward.
And there it went, huh?
And there it went.
Okay. And big shout out to Rod Cleef, by the way. Yeah, he's definitely making a difference.
Yes.
He's definitely making a difference. So I wanted to, definitely give him a shout out. So you said you started getting into passive investing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your first deal? And take me through that.
Okay. So my first passive investing deal, which actually worked out well, it's gone full cycle. Thank goodness, because as I continue to grow in commercial real estate and learn more, boy, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in
full cycle, meaning she got in, got out, and completed the cycle.
Yes, my apologies. So it was actually one of the breakout sessions. The guy who hosted that session, it was his investment. So I've passively invested into his deal. They performed sooner than anticipated. So the property, we got our money back. I invested a decent, most investments, you're going to be a minimum 50K is like on the low end. It's generally 75 to 100K that you're investing in these passive syndications, right? So what I did at the time, because I had just learned about self-directed IRA, I said, well, shucks, my money isn't making a lot of money over here. I went and took those funds, put it into a self-directed IRA, and invested right into that deal. And got in, like I said, within, I think, 2 years, which was a year earlier than planned, got my money back and some. And got, of course, my payouts every quarter throughout the time that they held the property and fixed it up and stabilized it. So the first deal worked out really well. And to be honest, everyone since then, even my latest one that closed at last year, that one was very nice as well. I mean, they doubled our money in that one in less than the time.
Did you go full cycle in that one as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've had a couple that's gone full cycle. I still have a couple that are open, and they're one is doing by far better than the other one, but the other one is still doing good. It's beating it. I mean, it does well. It's beating inflation, so I'm okay.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So.
And that's saying a lot considering where inflation is right now. That's saying a whole lot. Can't even go out and buy bread.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is very crazy out here. When I saw gas prices at $6 to $7, I said we've entered a new realm. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, really scary. Okay, so you've done a couple of full cycle deals. What's something that you're involved in now?
So, yeah, I did a couple full cycle, and just to complete that, I did a couple full cycle passive deals. I'm still in some passive investments. I will always passively invest to just keep my portfolio diversified. And then I also did a sort of a flip with a duplex. That was cool. And then also have a small 12-unit building that joint venture with some other partners that we actually, with that property, have a different business model where we're going in, fixing, renovating the units, but we've partnered with a local community partner that helps get homeless veterans off the streets and housing them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's been, and that for me is part of my mission of showing that it's profits. It's profits and purpose, and not profits or purpose.
Right.
I think that is a misconception that a lot of people have, that is one or the other, but really you can have both, right?
Yeah.
So that's been cool, pretty great and stuff also as well. And now I'm, focused on adding to my portfolio some self-storage facilities. So I've joined another coaching program because I'm a firm believer in mentorship and getting coaching and accelerating my path. I don't need to bump my head 1,000 times for people that have been doing it already. Let me just,
take from what you've learned.
Exactly. So, and that's pretty much where my focus is right now. With I've been doing a lot of underwriting. I actually submitted another offer on a property yesterday. Okay. And we'll see what becomes of that, and have about 4 more properties I need to go underwrite within the next couple of days. So.
Wow, that's beautiful. So how are you sourcing these deals, Monica?
So when it comes to multifamily and self-storage, similar but slightly different. So with multifamily, I personally, it depends on the size of the properties. If they are larger deals, like your 100 plus, 80 to 100 plus units, broker relationships are going to be vitally important for those. That they're just going to have most of the deals. If you come into the mom and pop and you go a little bit less than that, then you can do what's called direct to seller. You can drive for dollars. You can pick neighborhoods you want to be in, drive around, look at different facilities, get the address, go look up the information of who owns the property, do some skip tracing, and call the owners up, and you can send them letters, things like that. Mail campaigns is what they call them.
Yep.
We've done that too, and have actually had some pretty good, decent response on those as well.
The mail campaigns? Okay.
Now, the percentage on those can be really small, especially in multifamily. You're going to have a higher, better chance building you a team, getting connected with some experienced people and building broker relationships for multifamily.
Okay.
For self-storage, broker relationships are also good, but there's still a lot of mom and pop self-storage owners in this space, and you can drive around for dollars and create relationships directly with these owners. I just met one the other day right in my backyard. I was
the
over
self-storage unit.
checking on a facility. She rolled up on me like, "Hey, who are you? I don't know who you are." I let her know what I was doing. We had a conversation. She said, "Hey, I'm not interested in selling, but I am considering retiring soon. It's just me and my sister and my husband. We can probably have a conversation."
Yeah.
So I will continue to work that and follow up and build that relationship and see where it goes from there.
Okay.
So that's what I have found that has personally really worked for us as far as being able to get deals. But multifamily, broker relationships are key.
Yeah, most
They're key.
definitely.
Yeah.
You mentioned the mailers. Do you send mailers, because a lot of the times when you're doing these skip traces and you're trying to find out who's the owner and so on and so forth, you've got registered agents, you've got the address of the business, so you're not always getting like their home address. Have you found issues with that? Or, what seems to work, what didn't work, so on and so forth?
Yes, you definitely come across issues with that. Okay. And this is, so in real estate, period, relationships are key. Not just for brokers, with everybody.
Period.
Lenders, property managers.
Absolutely.
Realtors, other investors, because you never know who you connect with. In our situation, we were fortunate to have someone who had access to certain reports where they were able to actually just run reports for us and get us the owner's information.
Okay.
And we were able to bypass, it's in a registered agent name or it's in this LLC, and then trying to figure out who owns the LLC.
Yes.
Which can definitely take some time.
Yeah.
And you probably have to build you a team and put that sort of stuff together in place. My understanding, there's some softwares now that can help a little bit with that, but I don't have any personal experience with them, so I can't speak to any of them.
Okay. So you circumvented all of that by just using somebody who had the access.
Correct.
Okay, well, that's smart. That's smart. Yeah, that's the way to go. So with the storage units, is this something that you are going to solely focus on, or are you going to do both?
No, I'll do both. So I have a young lady that's working with me now that I'm sort of showing her the ropes. She's familiar with real estate, especially from a single family and construction standpoint, surveys, different things of that nature. She has background in that and engineering background. So she's also analytical like myself. So
I was about to say, you found another you.
That's what I'm working on.
Okay.
So she's going to be assisting on the multifamily side of the house, continuing to keep those relationships with brokers, establish more, source deals and things of that nature, while I'm specifically and solely focused on the self-storage side. Once I have the understanding of that, the way that I do with the multifamily, then we'll, 100% come back, and then I'll be looking at both. But right now, I need to keep my focus there until I really understand this specific niche, and then
Go from there.
Exactly.
Okay. Since I've got the underwriting guru here, it's only right that I ask you a couple of these questions. When you're looking at a deal, do you, look at cash on cash? Do you looking at, internal rate of return? What are some of the things you're looking at?
Yes. So for myself and most of my investors, they're looking for cash flow. We want properties that can make sure it covers the debt service and pay out some profits on the end. We do understand that if it's a property that within the first year we're going to be working on stabilizing because it might have some significant deferred maintenance and going to be a lot of renovation work, okay, there may not be any profits or payout, and we may have to come out of our reserves to cover, all of the first year's mortgage piece. But from year 2 forward, things are up and up and up and up, right?
Right.
So specifically for us, we're looking for cash flow. Well, we do not bet and underwrite deals based off of appreciation, because you never know what's going to happen in the market,
Right.
how things are going to turn. I'm pretty sure people did not know that inflation was going to be where it was at a year ago, where it is today. I'm pretty sure people did not know that rates were going to be, the Fed was going to be hiking the rates up the way that they are a year ago to where they are today. So those are the things, there's a lot of unknown in the future, right? And so this is why I don't underwrite for appreciation. Appreciation will be icing on the cake if it's there, right?
I
so
get that.
Everything is based off of cash flow for us.
For those who are watching, where would someone start if they were just trying to get it, their feet wet or get started in commercial real estate investing?
Education. I would definitely say I'm a firm believer in mentorship coaching, because it's an accelerated route. You also become a part of a network of like-minded individuals who have very similar goals as yourself, and you guys can band together and help and piggyback off each other and assist one another to get to your end goals. But if you're unable to jump into a coaching program right off the bat, there's a ton of free material out there. I mean, there's so many resources when it comes to real estate podcasts. There are several real estate podcasts with a buttload of information and interviews from people that can provide you so much value. Bigger Pockets is definitely one of those resources.
Sure.
Rod has one of the number one, if not still the number one podcast on, I think it's Lifetime Cash Flow through real estate investing or something along those lines. You could just put in his name, Rod Cleef, and it'll pop right up. And he has a ton of valuable information on there as well. Yeah. Michael Blanc also has a good resource. I mean, I can grab my phone and give you a list of names that you can, give your audience later.
Right.
But there's several resources and podcasts that are free, and you learn about all these different people. You can then get their links, go to their pages. They generally offer a ton of free information. I mean, there's literally between podcasts and YouTube, you can you got enough stuff there to last you a lifetime to be able to get started for free without having to pay a dime.
That's right.
And then when you find somebody that you really take a liking to their personality, maybe, and if they have a mentorship or a coaching program, join that when you can. Or take that leap of faith and say, you know what, this is what I want to do, and make it happen.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's definitely what I would say.
Okay.
Education, reading different books, podcasts.
That's good stuff. What are some myths that we can debunk as far as getting involved in commercial investing? I know one comes to mind for me for sure, is the fact that you don't need millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
True enough, the apartment complexes that we're purchasing are several $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But you yourself don't have to have that type of money, in order to make this thing work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people see 10 million,
yeah,
and they turn right around and, they just go look at the one bedroom house instead.
Yep.
Yep. What are some of the things that come to mind for you?
That is definitely number one.
Yeah.
Is the amount of money that they think is required to get involved. And also the second I would say would be that they have to start in single family first before going into commercial. Oh, let me get my feet wet. I need to learn and figure it out on single family versus on commercial.
Right. Yeah.
No.
Right. Don't do
Aside
it.
from
Don't
the duplex I did, which was a strategic play, I couldn't tell you anything about single family investing.
Okay.
And if you listen to a lot of the podcasts that we just recommended, and you listen to a lot of the different interviews and stuff on there, you will hear one of the common themes from a lot of them, that if they could have done anything different, what it would be, they would have skipped single family and went straight into commercial real estate investing.
Yeah.
When you hear that enough, you're like, well, let me just skip single family and go straight into commercial real estate. It's the same amount of work, same amount of time. So to debunk the myth of you got to have so much money to get involved. No, you do not need to have millions of dollars worth of money. This is why relationships are key and why partnerships are key. You can bring, whether you have 10,000 or you can say, I have no money, but I'm able to go and find the deals. Well,
Right.
you go find the deal and you bring together you a couple of people who has the net worth and experience to help you close the deal. And then maybe you need another person that has some money or two other people to have the money, and you guys all partner together and close the deal. Or you can bring that team together, build a team out, and then maybe you have a net worth of people, of networks of lawyers and doctors and whomever else, and people who have money that they have jobs that they're not going to be looking to leave anytime soon.
Right.
And their money isn't making a type of money, or they want to diversify their portfolio and they want to invest it in real estate, and they know they can't be active, they have to be passive, and you syndicate.
Yeah.
You leverage other people's money to close and purchase the property, do the renovations, have your reserves, and you pay them a return on their money.
Yeah. There you go. And a syndicate just is a fancy way of just saying it's a group of investors.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, no, that sounds great. Miss Thing clearly didn't have that problem, though. She just went and took that aerospace money and just, went and did what she had to do, though.
To a certain degree. I took my aerospace money and I joint venture with other people, and we pulled our money together to make it happen.
There you go.
And that's what I'm still doing.
Right, absolutely. So lastly, what's next? Where are you going from here? I mean, I know we've got the storage units that you're looking at, and you just submitted an LOI, you said yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hope that works out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where next?
Right where I'm at.
Okay.
I am focused. I have my plan in place, and I'm only staying focused here until I've hit these milestones, and then I'm headed to next. I have a really, really large vision, and I'm breaking it down in chunks now. As I mentioned earlier, my self-storage, diversifying the portfolio, bringing other investors who want to diversify their funds and things of that nature. And once I have certain milestones that I want to hit, and once I hit those, then we'll go to the next phase.
That's beautiful. Well, as you can see, now you see exactly what I saw. I greatly appreciate you, sitting down and talking with me. I think you were a wealth of information. Again, when you came with that mindset piece, that just blew the doors off, and then everything else was just icing on top. So I greatly, greatly appreciate you for that. For anyone who may be interested in reaching out, I don't even know if that's your thing,
Mm-hmm.
but if there's someone reaching out, or if you want to provide that information, now would be the time to do it.
Well, first, thank you for inviting me and having me. It was a pleasure being able to chat with you and your audience as well, and share whatever information I have. One thing I'm a firm believer in is any information I have, I want to make sure that anybody within my reach or even further than my reach, they also have that same information. I believe in spreading knowledge, because not everybody has the resources to be able to go pay to get this information at different conferences. So I believe in sharing it.
Right.
And if you want to be able to reach out to me, to ask me any questions, to set up a call, to learn more about real estate investing, and how you can get involved, the quickest and easiest way is just to go to my Instagram page, which is _impact_investing. You can go right on my link tree. It has a link to my calendar that you can set up a call with me. And I also have some other free resources there for you as well. So that is the quickest way that you can get a hold of me, my number, my email, etc.
Beautiful. So, as you can see, this is why I brought her on. I'm sure that bigger goal has something to do with some philanthropic, things coming down. I knew it. Something told me that. But again, thank you so much. This is Monica Duhart. I'm Dwayne Dixon with Success of a Nation. And thanks for tuning in.
See ya.